Hi guys, so this issue of extending free school meals has not gone away. The Labour Party introduced a motion last week. It was defeated by the Conservatives. The Conservative government wanted to go away, and thankfully Marcus Rashford and others are putting pressure on the government to change direction, to do a U-turn basically, and extend these free school meals. Now, a lot of MPs on the Conservative bench have received a bit of hate for the way they voted. Now, it's very important to remember that what MPs say in Parliament and what they actually do, as in how they vote, are sometimes a little bit different. But let's hear what the Education Secretary, Gavin Williamson, had to say about this.
I think it's fair to say that members on both sides of the House are united in their commitment to drive out poverty, to make sure that children...
So he said both sides of the House are committed to drive down poverty. This is Gavin Williamson. So let's actually look at his voting record to see if he's telling the truth. Gavin Williamson consistently voted for reducing housing benefit for social tenants deemed to have excess bedrooms. Okay. Consistently voted against raising welfare benefits in line with prices. I don't see how that's driving down poverty. Consistently voted against paying higher benefits for those for longer periods for those unable to work due to illness or disability. Now, the Conservatives will say we shouldn't be extending benefits for the lazy, work-shy layabouts. We should extend benefits for those who really need it. Yes, is being ill or disabled not needing it? So wouldn't you think that he would vote for increased benefits for these people? No, he voted against that. So he's saying, yes, we care about poverty. Then his voting record should emulate that, but it's the opposite. Consistently voted for making local councils responsible for those for helping those in financial need afford their council tax and reducing the amount they spend on such support. This is about, and it has been quite consistent in this government, it's about shifting responsibility to the councils, but not giving them the financial support to do so. It's about taking the powers away from councils, but shifting the costs onto the councils. Consistently voted for a reduction in spending on welfare benefits. So once again, the poorest in society are on benefits, and he's saying that we care about reducing poverty. Almost always voted against spending public money to create guaranteed jobs for young people who have spent a long time unemployed. So once again, what they say in Parliament means nothing. It's their voting record you have to look at. But let's hear what he had to say about Marcus Rashford.
Do not go hungry, that we will do everything we can do to support families and help families to do well and to succeed, to provide them with a world-class education system, driving up standards. That is what drives members on this side of the House and what will always do so. I'll give way to my honourable friend.
I'd just like to say to the Secretary of State, he's been incredibly generous with interventions. There are 43 on the call list, and we would like to get those members in, and there will be time limits, by the way, so please keep that in mind. David Simmons.
Mr Deputy Speaker, I would ask the Secretary of State, was he moved, as I was, by the Times Red Box article?
Do you remember this guy, David Simmons? I actually did a video on him the other day where he was interviewed by Channel 4. I'll link it in the description, or I'll put a link to it. Do you remember David? So David had said that he cared about child poverty. He cared about poverty in general, making sure that young people and poor people had more money. And then we actually looked at his voting record, which was the complete opposite. But let's hear what he has to say about all of this.
That Marcus Rashford wrote. And did he feel it quite striking that the anxiety and difficulties that he described growing up with his mum's worry about feeding the children took place entirely under a Labour government that claimed that eradicating child poverty was its front and central policy?
So what is the oh look, it's the the Labour Party, so Marcus Rashford grew up under a Labour government, and he understood child poverty because it was Labour's fault that he was in poverty. What the Conservative Party are doing here is they're attempting to shift the blame once again. This is all about blaming other people. In the same way with Brexit, Boris Johnson blamed the European Union, blame Ireland, blame Remainers, blame everyone else. This is what it's all about, blaming other people. Now, what they're doing here is they're trying to say, look, you should look at the Labour Party. Don't look at us. Yes, we're throwing children under a bus. But what did the Labour Party do when they were in power? Actually, I don't care what the Labour Party did when they were in power. They're not in power now. You are in power now. If the Labour Party and some of the members of the Labour Party are no longer in the chamber, they have been replaced, but that's irrelevant. You have the power to extend these free school meals. You have the power to eliminate poverty if you want. Is that part of your policy? You keep saying in Parliament that you care about reducing poverty, but your voting record is the opposite. You say that Marcus Rashford grew up under poverty. Now he's trying to reduce that poverty. Surely you would agree with him that extending free school meals would do that. You're saying that, see, this is not, it doesn't have to, I'm trying to approach this from a logical point of view. I'm trying to rationalize what he's saying, but I'm approaching it the wrong way, because that's the wrong, because trying to rationalize what he's saying will lead me nowhere. What he's doing is he's just trying to turn this into a political football. We have taken heat. Our MPs have taken heat. We hoped that by voting this down, we could just move on and talk about something else. The Labour Party introduced this policy. It made us look bad. Instead of actually turning around and saying, okay, we could approach it in two ways. We could extend free school meals and claim a victory, or we could hope that it would just blow over. And they hoped it would blow over. It's not blowing over, thanks to Marcus Rashford and others. They're continuing to put pressure on the government, which they should do. And they're putting pressure on local MPs, which they should do. I would recommend people picket local MPs' offices, demand that they change. Now, I'm not telling people to call up MPs' families or MPs themselves. I'm talking about going to their local office, their local Conservative Party office, and explaining how they feel about this, saying this is not a policy that you should be supporting. As I said before, the Labour Party can't redirect Boris Johnson. The only people who can redirect Boris Johnson and the government are Conservative MPs. And how will that happen? By putting pressure on those Conservative MPs, making them feel that there is a risk here. If I continue to vote with the government, there's a risk that I will lose my seat. People will vote me out. Get them to redirect the direction of the party and the government. Those are the only people who can do it. Sending petitions online to Boris Johnson will make no difference. Marcus Rashford has limited success, but you have to understand that Parliament is the one that decides, and you need to put pressure on MPs in Parliament. But once again, this is about saying, yes, we're crap, but look at the Labour Party. Once again, it's a distraction. It's about redirecting the conversation away from the Conservative Party towards the Labour Party. And unfortunately, it will work for some people. And it will work on the public in general. They will be distracted. And of course, people in the media will take this as, oh, yes, what did the Labour Party do in the past? Once again, I don't care what the Labour Party did in the past. I care about what the Labour Party are doing today, and I care about what the Conservative Party are doing today. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?